me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
They had a huge care and a huge heart for this park systems, and they really wanted to jump in there and take ownership of it. Areas that maybe couldn't be kept up with, or areas that they saw concern. And really, that's how you save a lot of these parks, is you find these neighborhood groups or these people that have this love for these parks, give them the ability to give ownership and take care of what they see as a problem.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, live from the 2025 NRPA Conference in Orlando, Florida. In this episode, we sit down with special guest Garrett James from Rayburn Electric Cooperative in Texas. Garrett shares his unique journey from golf course mechanics to facilities maintenance in Dallas parks, and now to leading campus operations at Rayburn's stunning 100-acre site. Together, they dive into the often overlooked world of facility maintenance, the backbone of parks and recreation. From irrigation and turf management to the science of soil health, public-private partnerships, Garrett reminds us that maintaining parks is about much more than just mowing grass. It's about sustainability, community pride, and creating landscapes where people truly belong. So stick around for an inspiring conversation that shines a spotlight on the unsung heroes keeping our parks and campuses thriving. Let's dive in.
All right, so I've got another great special guest with us today. This is Craig LeBlanc, live from the NRPA convention in Orlando, Florida, the 2025 convention. Special guest Garrett James from Texas, and he works with Rayburn Electrical Cooperative. But how's your convention going so far, Garrett?
So far, so good. Checking out the goods this year, seeing what equipment we got out there that can kind of help us move our cooperative into the future, especially for campus wide. Really, it's just trying to make it more effective, lower manpower hours, and that's what we're here for, is to learn and figure out what's new.
Yeah. Now, one thing we wanted to create is when we first started to create the Daily Parks and Rec Show, and I asked people, is there one part of the industry that we just don't create enough content around? And I can't tell you how many directors said, man, if you can create anything for the facilities maintenance side of our industry, we don't show them enough love. We don't create enough stuff for them. We don't give them enough praises. And they are half of all the effort that goes into Parks and Rec is into maintaining this massive real estate portfolio. And this is kind of where you came from. So maybe give a little bit of background as to how you came into Parks and Rec on the facilities maintenance side.
No, absolutely. Mine was kind of an oddball way of going in, but I think it's gave me a huge leverage. I started out in golf. I was on the mechanical side of it first. I had somebody that brought me on and was teaching me how to take care of all the equipment, the mowers, and it's so specialized that there's not a bunch of people that do it. So the training wasn't there. It was just, you had to meet a guy that knew a guy that had done it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of got me in the door to figuring a lot of this stuff out. And then in Dallas, I was able to get into my first park system where I was doing purely just park maintenance, working hand in hand with Dallas Parks and Rec. Big shout out to them, because none of this would have been possible without them, at least in my career path.
Yeah.
So moved from one park over to 12 parks in downtown Dallas. Learning even more of the background of it, how the city of Dallas Parks and Rec stuff works, how it's working with the public-private partnerships. And there's a lot of that goes unsaid, that they're the public-private partnerships that are happening behind the scenes of these people that really do. They had a huge care and a huge heart for this park systems, and they really wanted to jump in there and take ownership of it on areas that maybe couldn't be kept up with, or areas that they saw concern. And really, that's how you save a lot of these parks, is you find these neighborhood groups or these people that have this love for these parks and give them the ability to give ownership and take care of what they see as a problem.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about Parks and Rec as being municipal government, but the company that you work for, Rayburn Electric Cooperative, is an energy producer. So they produce, well, maybe you can explain a little bit about what they do, because I'll just butcher it.
No, so we're a G&T, so we're generation and transmission. So we're passing the power along and transmitting it over to the other companies who are our members. So farmers and TVEC and a couple of other people that are our members. And then they send that to the residents and everything else.
Yeah. They literally keep the lights on for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, our whole thing with Rayburn, we're pretty core. So it's a lot of it's like we are the people that are giving everybody the juice that they need. So we have a lot of weight on our shoulders. So
yeah. And there's a lot of hype around these data centers for AI coming in and consuming a ton of power. And so there's a massive focus nationwide. Of course, I come from the Bitcoin community. We always get blamed for consuming a bunch of power. And then you've got the local community that are running, their air conditioners and stuff. But with these AI data centers coming on, even pulling harder on the grid. So our electrical generators are even more important for our community. And we kind of saw that in that big freeze that hit North Texas that you were a part of that, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Everybody was affected. And it was cool to see whenever I jumped on with Rayburn, their story of the 5 days that happened and how they were able to come out of the other side of it and learn a bunch of things and be able to be better for it at the end of the day, because it was just a huge learning curve for a lot of people and figure out that this was a failure point in some aspects and be able to show up at the end of the day.
So how is Rayburn looking for someone in Parks and Rec to bring onto their campus?
We are currently, like I said, shameless plug. I'm bringing on another hand at the campus. So we have a 100-acre campus in Rockwall, Texas. And then we have almost another 60 acres of offsite that we care for. And whenever I say this place is meticulous, I've never seen a prettier campus. Shameless plug.
And who keeps it that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a couple of guys I know keep it real nice. So it's a shameless plug on us. But no, this is even the first day that I walked in, I was like, holy cow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I get to be the one that's in charge of this. Heck yeah. So I was really excited to come on board, and we're excited to be growing the team. Hopefully we'll just get bigger and bigger and not have as much work per person going on, but it really is. It's been a dream job and a dream place to work. It really is. It's beautiful. We have the soccer fields that are coming in. Hopefully beginning of next year, we should be about finished with those. We have pickleball court that are being finished right now. Hopefully they'll be playing by end of year. Really is. It's just an enjoyable place, especially when we're moving from building to building, of just how awesome it is to feel comfortable and feel like, oh, this is a nice, relaxing walk in between these campuses and in between these buildings. Everything that we deep dive into to make sure that it's just right.
And really being a part of a grounds crew or landscaping, golf courses, it's as much of a science as it is an art form. I mean, you really get to just paint with Mother Nature and create these beautiful landscapes. How did you get involved in that part of it? Were you always kind of attracted to landscaping or something like that?
No, absolutely. I think my first real hand in it was I was probably about 16, because I remember I had my first truck and started just kind of doing land management for a few people, 14-acre lot here or a residential lot here. And really those people entrusting me and saying, hey, I just want this to look good, but I don't know what that is. And entrusting me to be able to go out there and say, hey, I think we need to put this in the dirt here. Hey, I think we need to rebuild this pond dam. Hey, I think we need to do this, do that. And so a lot of people that's a blessing, is a lot of people that just entrust you to say, hey, I think that you know what you're doing. Go ahead and show it to me. And so that's been the kind of the upraising from there. And it just went on and on. And so Rayburn was a great move for that. They had an already well-planned campus. And then they came in and said, hey, tweak it the way that you want to see it. We just want it to be beautiful at the end of the day and sustainable. My biggest part is making sure it's sustainable. I don't want to be replanting something every year. Nobody does. So it's making sure that we have of course, we're in North Texas. So Texas natives, we need stuff that can survive the coldest of the cold and stuff that can survive the hottest of the hot.
Droughts and everything.
So I need the unicorn plants every time. Right. People are like, is that going to work? But we're going to see.
Right.
We're going to test it out.
That's it. All right. So we created a daily show, and we're still building this up, but Garrett was one of the great contributors of that. And it's called the Facilities Maintenance Show. It airs Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. So as we continue to build out that platform, we created a little promo for it. And then I want to tell y'all a funny story that one show that me and Garrett made, and then we'll be right back.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field,
There's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of Parks and Recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job. It's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility Maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy.
All right. So one of those episodes, I asked Garrett to come talk about grass, which is, what's the technical term? Is it agronomy?
Yeah, agronomy.
Okay. The study of agronomy. So we started talking about grass, and we got on the topic of irrigation and water and drain off and all that kind of stuff. And I looked at the clock, and it was like 50 minutes later. We never got off the topic of water.
I don't think we talked about grass at all that day, but we need the water to grow the grass. So.
Yeah, and the point of that is that there's so many disciplines that it takes when you see a beautiful park or a beautiful landscape, that you have got irrigation, you've got pesticides. I mean, let's go ahead and name all the things that it takes when you look at a great piece of property that's just well managed and manicured. What are we looking at here?
So, like you were talking about, we have our herbicides, our pesticides, just our general care every day. I mean, there's just the weird little pieces that you learn about. Like, we'll step out in the morning and I'll tell my guy, like, hey man, it looks a little wet this morning. We could mow, but we're going to make a little bit more messes than we probably should. It's like, so let's back off and let's edge and weed eat this morning until the sun comes out. We'll burn off that morning dew. And golf, you didn't have that kind of time. So we were out there blowing dew off and raking dew off so that we could mow, because you don't have that much playtime in the mornings. We have a little bit more leniency now, but I mean, the mowing, irrigation, the overall, like whenever it comes to the back side of the maintenance, whenever we're talking about top dressing and aerating and really getting to know your soil, we're trying to do it at least once a year when we get out there and we're pulling soil samples throughout campus, because it's just dependent upon the dirt that was brought in. Our campus alone, I mean, I think they had hundreds of thousands of yards of dirt was pulled out of that area to level this spot out. So it's like, and dirt that was brought back in. So we really want to know what we're working with at the beginning and where we're headed, just to get it right, and trying to give us that balance between urban landscaping and native. I love native as much as anything else. So it's like, I don't want to have everything be an urban landscape, because that's not the beauty of nature. So I try to give it that subtle but easy mix between the two. And so luckily we have that ability with our wooded areas, and hopefully we'll start working on a trail system here pretty soon. But there's just so much that goes into it on the back end. That becomes a everyday, day-to-day activity. And it's just, once you get a team that knows what they're doing every day and they're going out and really hammering down, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And the common misconception is that all these guys do is cut the grass.
Oh yeah.
And it couldn't be further from the truth, because like you said, I think I asked you, said, I have this patch of grass that I want to get looking good. What are the first few things? And you're like, take some soil samples, understand what's underneath, something you don't even see. It's completely covered up, the dirt, right? But to understand how important is that, to know that the dirt that your plants are growing on and in.
Absolutely. No, it's huge, because it's like you could be fighting something over and over and over again. And I'm just going to be blaming the grass. Oh, this grass is awful. Oh, this grass is awful. Maybe I should have gone with this Bermuda. Maybe I should have gone with that Bermuda. I should have gone Champion instead of Tiff Tough. I should have gone this way. I should have gone St. Augustine. And then it comes back, you do a soil sample and be like, oh, maybe I just need to drop some lime, and then I'll bring it back into rate here. I mean, it's something as simple as that. You could be fighting forever. There's a bunch of things where I've gone out there and we just stick a screwdriver in the dirt and be like, oh, well, there's a piece of concrete down here. So yeah, it's probably not growing very well right there. It's kind of like, come on, dummy. There's something else going on.
Yeah.
But unless you have the time and the ability and people that have the know-how, luckily I was taught along the way to see those kind of things and to say, hey, slow down, think about it. Let's figure out what's going on before we just keep hammering away funds and time at it.
Yeah. And then the second big thing that we talked about was water, and about how much too little water, too much water. Because really, too much water is just as bad as too little water.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can have these runoffs that are just cutting through all your vegetation.
Absolutely.
And so water and irrigation is another big important thing.
And luckily, I'm a Bermuda man myself, so we don't have St. Augustine like a lot of the southern states do. So fungus isn't a huge one for us, but I mean, we still get to deal with our dollar spot. We get that weird part of the year where people want to call it spring, but Texas doesn't have one of those. And so we just get this constant humidity and heat range that is just perfect for fungal growth. And so we'll see these blooms of mushrooms, and everybody's always worried about the mushrooms or the fungus that's in your mulch beds. And 99% of the time, it is completely harmless. But there is other stuff that we do have to worry about. Pythium blout is a huge one for us. Dollar spot is something that we fight with. Concentrated dry spot. I mean, there's just a lot of these things, but once again, it's another one of those slow down. Let's backtrack. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's talk to the experts. If you don't know it, somebody else does. Never be afraid to ask somebody about it. And really just get to the heart of it before we just start jumping on it. Because, I mean, I've seen it plenty of times where we'll just go out there and be like, well, that looks funny, and then keep mowing. And then all of a sudden, from what was right there is now on your entire campus. So it's like, stop, think about it, move forward.
Yeah. And then we talk about fertilizers and pesticides. These are things that you add to the plants and to the soil. Let's talk a little bit about pesticides and fertilizers.
So our biggest thing, at least in my region right now, is almost always army worms and grubs. Army worms, by the time you see them, it's almost too late. They're in everything by that point. So you just got to start hammering away at them. Grubs really don't cause as huge of effect for us, but those little armored boogers that run around in the woods all the time, they love to eat grubs, and they will tear up a yard like a trencher. So armadillos are my bane of my existence at the moment. I've been chasing after one armadillo for a year now. He runs a nighttime schedule when I'm not there, so he knows.
He's like the golfer on Caddyshack. He's going to be having dynamite out there.
And so one of these days, I'm going to run a night shift, and me and him are going to meet. So I'll find that armadillo.
Yeah. And notice we hadn't talked about cutting the grass at all. We're still working them on water and soil and pesticides and pests. And like you taught me, well, what do you want to grow? Let's talk about what's wanted and what's unwanted. And so there's really so much more that goes into maintaining these facilities, just on the groundkeeping side of it.
Absolutely. And that's why even me not even thinking about it, there was a standard 419 Bermuda that got thrown out there, and I threw down some Tiff Tough, and it was like, people were like, the grass, it looks the same, but one of those just doesn't grow the same as the other. And I'm like, well, didn't really think about it, and I threw out some shorter growing grass, and the other one, it's like, that side mows great and this side doesn't mow half as good.
Right.
But really, is mowing's the easy part. It always is. It's like, it's easy to throw Joe Blow on a mower and just have him throttle up and go. So that's easy going for us. Of course, it is manpower, it is work, but it's like there's almost not as much thought put into that.
Yeah. Well, Garrett, thank you so much for coming on the show. And then thank you for helping me create the content early on in the facilities maintenance show. This next year, we're going to be able to put a lot more time and effort into really growing out that morning show all on facilities maintenance, because it's such a great topic, and it's definitely needed in this industry to speak more about that side of it.
Absolutely. No, it's been crazy to see this grow and how fast taking this. I mean, it's just booming.
That's good to hear, because sometimes I'm like, it's not moving fast enough. We need to go faster. My model in my head is I want to be like ESPN tomorrow, not realizing how big of a heavy lift that is. But we'll get there eventually.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, and have a great rest of your convention.
Absolutely.
All right.
At DPR's Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of parks and rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post,
We're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities.
This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.